Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2019 action film Daughter of the Wolf, a film that is directed by David Hackle and it stars Gina Carano, the ex-mixed martial arts star, and you will have seen her in films like Deadpool, etc. Richard Dreyfuss, the Oscar-winning actor, and Brendan Fair. Now, this is a film that I saw a trailer for a couple of months ago, maybe. I don't think I did a trailer reaction. I don't remember doing a trailer reaction to it. Anyway, and I thought it looked a pretty interesting film. And what is this film about? Well, this film focuses on Gina Carano's character, Claire, who is ex-military, and she has her son kidnapped by Richard Dreyfuss and his bunch of scallywags, and I don't remember it being specific, but it looks like it's in the Canadian mountains or something like that, snowy mountains somewhere. So they kidnap Claire's son and demand a ransom. However, when she turns up to pay this ransom, she's double crossed, and she realises the only way she's going to get her son back is to actually fight for him, to get him back. So she tracks through these snowy woods, tracking down Richard Dreyfuss and her gang, with the help of Brendan Fair's character Larson, who is one of Richard Dreyfuss's gang but agrees to lead her to his encampment. Pretty generic stuff really here. So that's the setup of this movie. Can she get her son back from the dastardly grip of Richard Dreyfuss and his nasty gang members? Right, what did I think of Daughter of the Wolf? Well, I think it's a pretty generic action film really. I'm not going to dress it up. Is it watchable? Yeah. Have I seen better? Yeah, much better. But I've seen far worse as well. Now, Gina Carano is obviously a very, very talented mixed martial artist. She's trying to pave her way in the movies. However, she's not the strongest actress out there. She's kind of like, and I don't want to mean this sound like an insult, because I don't mean it as an insult. She's almost like the female Steven Seagal. She's kind of fairly generic in her approach to acting. And this film really doesn't do her an awful lot of justice, because her character is not particularly well written or fleshed out, as is nobody's in the film. It's got a really dull narrative, and the narrative itself makes no sense, because it never really fully clearly makes you understand, or makes it clear in the film as to why they took her son and how they took her son, what the connection is between Richard Dreyfuss and her family. And they try and make out there is a connection, but it kind of muddies the water and confuses it, so the narrative is all over the place really. If you're going to make a basic I want my kid back story, well, do it. But the problem is you don't get to see her and her son build any kind of relationship at all. For example, the film Commando with Schwarzenegger, very similar concept in a lot of ways. You got that sequence at the beginning of him spending time with his daughter. You could see that bond, you could see that, relationship between them. And even though it's a short 5 or 10 minutes, if that, you get it where he wants to get his daughter back. In this film, you don't get anything like that. You don't get to see any kind of relationship, and what you do see, there's a brief flashback, is them not really getting on. So consequently, you don't really care about this relationship. So again, it goes back to poor writing, poor narrative. There's some very, very stupid things happen in this film. For example, remember this is out in the snowy mountains somewhere. There's a scene where she runs across some ice to catch a bad guy, and the ice cracks and she falls into the ice. She manages to get out of this ice, but she's alright. Now, I would suggest that, if I fell through some ice out in the Canadian mountains somewhere and I managed to climb out, I would freeze to death fairly soon after, unless I was given serious medical treatment or somewhere warm, fresh clothes, dry everything off. None of this takes place. And there's another scene later on in the film where she falls off like this huge waterfall. Very similar thing. Again, she's no problem at all. So it's just a bit insulting. Insults your intelligence, some stuff that goes on in this film, and it just beggars belief. The dialogue's pretty dull. There's not an awful lot of it, and what it is pretty dull. The only highlight of this film is Richard Dreyfuss, who plays this grumpy, miserable southern guy, and he chews up every scene he's in, but he's very pantomime, if you like. So he plays a great villain in this, but other than that, nobody else really stands out. Yeah, and there's no real explanation as well. It says daughter of the wolf. There's no connection here. It doesn't, throughout this film you keep seeing scenes of these wolves leaving her alone but attacking everybody else, but there's no explanation given. She wasn't raised by wolves or anything, as the title would suggest. Doesn't even hint at anything like that. They just left her alone. So again, that didn't make any sense at all. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I just thought it was a bit dull and generic. It's not bad, but you've seen far better than this. So if you're going to watch it, don't be expecting much, is what I would suggest. So there you go. That is my review for Daughter of the Wolf. I hope you enjoyed it, and of course I'll see you next time on Screen Stars.